Lawrence, you gotta know by now that you can't be eating meat like that in front of a wild Holo. She gonna snatch it. But no, episode 8 of Spice and Wolf, pretty decent episode. It seems like it's the beginning of our clueless protagonist, Lawrence, arc, where he doesn't seem to be getting the hints. Holo's dropping all these hints, and he doesn't seem to be picking up on it, even though it does seem like he's a little bit doki doki for a certain somebody showing up. But yes, let's dive into this episode proper, opening it up with, yes, the meeting of Norah. It's kind of this little funny back and forth, because Holo obviously seems to realize that it seems like Lawrence is got a little bit of a crush there. Like, he's seen Norah, he's getting a little doki doki, and as she asked to, give them guidance and guide them through the pathway, yes, he agrees to it. He already has Holo. He doesn't need this girl to protect him. So it's like, why would you? Now, he does indicate, it's all about creating trade. It's all about creating connections and whatnot. This girl could lead us to connections. He sort of indicates that later on. If he ever needs wool or whatever, she might be able to provide him some sort of connection. Now, I don't think that's the case, and we'll get into it here in a minute. I don't think that Norah would be able to help him out at all, because it does seem like all indications are pointing to her being sort of a staying within the church. Like, they're helping her. I guess I can get into it now. In the previous episode, they sort of indicated that somebody was brought in by the church. This curse sorcerer or whatever, this nasty person, this bad person was brought in and taken care of. And she's kind of getting an indication that she was without anything. She was in a poor house. She wanted a job. This is a great job for her to have. And they gave it to her. And yes, as we see later on in this episode, the Pope guy or the priest guy was giving her a stink eye. This is like, it seems to indicate this girl's like a stain in this village or the city, and it seems like they're at least helping her out by giving her a job. So I don't think that she'd be able to provide Lawrence with any sort of connections, but it doesn't seem like he's getting that. He's not picking up all these little signals along the way to give him the indication that this girl is sort of not seen by society as a good thing. But that does go to the mindset of Lawrence. Okay, do this, establish connections. But yeah, you do kind of feel there's probably a side of it that he thinks that she's cute and she needs help, and so he's willing to throw a little bit extra money in order to help her out. But yeah, Holo's picking up on that stuff and constantly teasing him. Oh, I know what you wanted. You wanted me to say that I want to journey with you alone. No, that was not the case. Anyways, yeah, they start walking together. That's when we get a little bit of an insight into Norah herself, why she does what she does. Apparently, she's been doing it for 4 years. She found the dog that she's using right now, Enoch, and it seems like he was somebody that did work with a shepherd before, because he was carrying a staff and he was injured, and it seems like it's a very smart dog. Like, this is a dog that some random girl that has been raised by in a poor house, she wouldn't have this dog. So it does seem like she just found this dog. It probably already had training and it's been working aside her really well. So that's kind of what they've kind of established there. And yeah, he does ask why she decided to ask a merchant to guide him, because normally merchants don't need shepherds, and it does seem like she just wanted somebody to talk to. And he's like, yeah, I can totally understand that. And he makes some passing comment about how it's nice to be able to talk to a normal girl later on. Totally mean to Holo. Like, come on, dude. That was super mean. But yeah, she does mention the fact that she's trying to get more money in order to get in tailoring. That's something that she actually wants to do. So she's happy that she has this job that she's doing the shepherding, even though they won't give her much work. But at the same time, she does need to earn money. She wants to earn money to do something else, and that is to be a tailor, apparently. And yeah, it is sad that she mentions the fact that, yeah, this is the only area that I could actually get work to do in, or the fields that I can actually go into, and it's the one that nobody else wants to use. The other shepherds have the other areas, and this is the only area I can have, and sure enough, it's the only area that is just swarming with wolves. But it kind of goes with her skill, her ability, that she can actually handle it, but at the same time, she has to put herself in the dangerous area just because it's the only place that she's allowed. And it probably answers as to why she's not given a whole bunch of sheep to actually herd, because if she fails, they lose a lot of sheep. Again, all these things are sort of pointing to the fact that they're doing her a favor despite the fact that they're not trusting her enough. And yeah, that kind of extends to the next scene where Lawrence talks to Norah and he's questioning, why don't you get more to herd? It looks like you're really good at this. Why would you not get more? And she's happy with what she has, but he's kind of pointing out, with your skill, you could probably get a much better employer. You obviously are getting paid under. He's like, yeah, that's just what I do. I'm a merchant. I look at these things. It's hard for me not to calculate these things. And she does kind of point out, should I look for somebody else? And he picks up on it really quickly. Oh, you're employed by the church, right? Yeah, I'm employed by the church. Okay, then stick with that. And then this is kind of one of those two-sided things here where, yes, he's acknowledging at this point she was given something that she probably couldn't find elsewhere. She talks about, being raised in a poor house, and the church gave her this thing, which is more than she could ever ask for. She's not asking for a lot. And it does, I guess it gives that indication that she's being given an opportunity here that's maybe not a lot of money, but she's happy. They're treating me right, and they're giving me this job. So stick with it. It's comfortable. You're going to get plenty. You're going to be able to put food on your table. Just stick with that. So I think there is sort of a side of this of him not wanting her to push against those that are kind of feeding her. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. But I do think it's also an idea that, yes, he's acknowledging that I think there's a side of it that he's acknowledging that maybe this is something that's not normal for her, and so she should not take it for granted. Don't go sniffing everywhere. But he still at least opens the door for her of, okay, well, I'll tell the other merchants about you. That way you can at least have a side gig. That's a fine thing for you to have. The God doesn't teach that you can't have more than one job. So just take that opportunity as well. So it's kind of an oddity here because on one end, I almost want to think that Lawrence is not wanting her to push away against something that she's achieved here and not take it for granted. But I don't think he's going so far as to acknowledge what we're already acknowledging at this point. This girl is having some sort of difficulty in fitting in with that group or with the society there. But yeah, that's when we get a little bit of a jealousy Holo moment. It's like, dude, you're not picking up on any of this stuff. She's like super mad. She's brushing her tail, talking about how this girl is totally hating talking to you, and you're not even picking up on any of it. And him talking about how, oh, if it's first love, then I would hate to deprive her of that or the experience of that affection growing. And she starts busting up laughing. I love it. And then he has to kind of make some comment about, I'm happy that you're laughing and that it's gotten you away from being angry, not being able to groom your tail. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. I like how she just completely laughs it off. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm mad about. My tail. Yes, sure. It's a funny little scene. And then she has to tease him at the end by saying that she's going to steal some of those sheep. I did kind of wonder if it was her warning that there's wolves nearby that are going to take her sheep. But no, it's just literally Holo trying to scare Lawrence. Well, I could take some of his sheep. They're probably really tasty right now. But yeah, that's when they arrive at the town. He pays a little extra, talks about how it's an investment in case, he needs to buy wool or something like that. Like I said before, if she's what I think she is and she's a sorcerer that's being brought in by the church, he's not going to be able to establish much for connections, but we'll see. But yeah, it does kind of indicate a little bit here that the dog's picking up on something. He's staring at Holo the entire time. And then even later on when they're leaving, she just glares at the dog. I think the dog was picking up on a scent there. But no, they arrive at the checkpoint, and that's when everything around the armor starts to creep up. They immediately go, where is this from? Oh, yeah, that's definitely something that looks like it would come out of that area or that town. Do you want to pay the taxes in money or in trading? He says trading. Good choice. I thought that was kind of a little odd statement there. Good choice. It kind of makes me wonder if the value in currency and the value in the actual object itself is different, or at least it changes differently. Because that would kind of explain what happens later on with the message coming to Lawrence from the people that made the actual armor, or at least the trading company that gave him the armor. That something makes me believe that the value of the armor itself dropped at some point, and that would make sense that he'd pay it with the armor if the value of the armor for the fee didn't go down. Thus, he would save a lot of money by paying with the armor and not in actual currency. Thus, again, good choice. But again, it's kind of odd that even when he goes to trade in, the guys are giving him weird looks. And Holo sort of chops it up as the idea that it's a possibility they don't like a small-time trader making a lot of money. And that technically could be it, which would explain the first initial impressions with the guards and the idea that they go, oh yeah, great choice, because that's something we're going to get a lot of value out of. It all kind of raises a lot of question marks. And again, I kind of like that aspect that you don't really quite know exactly which direction it's going to go with a lot of these trades. And again, that could also explain the very last scene and the idea that if they are wanting to tell Lawrence, hey, don't take a little bit of measly money for this stuff has gone up. Because again, it's a borrowed loan from those guys. So it's in their best interest to make sure that Lawrence knows if the value goes up or down, because they're going to make part of that profit. So it is good that they need to get a hold of him and tell him quickly, hey, don't do this, or yes, do this, or be wary of this. But But yeah, that's when they head to the trading house, or at least the merchant association that he's affiliated with. I like little comments that she makes outside of it. What, you weren't going to bring me in and show you to my family? Because he knows that, yes, this is like my second home. Like, these are all merchants from my hometown, and they're all very connected to me. Oh, well, you don't want to show me off then? No, because then I'd have to be married with you first. And you don't want to deal with the wedding ceremonies that my homeland lays out. So it kind of has this whole kind of joking thing about, you don't want to show off your wife to everybody. It's like, yes. Why would you not want to show her off, dude? But we meet Jacob Toronto, which is the leader of the Rowan Merchant Association, or at least this branch. And yes, seems like this guy is pretty buddy with Lawrence. Like, everybody that apparently works there is sort of a son or daughter to him, even talking about all these embarrassing things about him. Yes, I'm in fact your son. Okay, stop then. Used to wet his bed all the time when he went out camping, and yes, he apparently snatched up some proceeds to his cell in order to go to a brothel with his friends, where he was trembling the whole time. I do like the fact that they sort of remind the viewer or reader right here about how long it takes for him to travel around, because it literally been a year since the last time that he was here. And you would expect that he's kind of leaving here, going out trading, coming back. So that time there was like a whole year. But yeah, that's when we get the final scene where at the Romerio Trading Company, which doesn't seem like they're doing very well. This place is empty. Some random guy shows up to give Lawrence a message from the trading company that he got the armor from, and they're going to leave it right there. I think I'm leaning more towards the idea that the value has gone up. And that's why they were kind of okay with him paying with the armor. It's because the value is so high. And that would explain, again, why the company would want to tell Lawrence, because they don't want Lawrence to lose out money that they could potentially get, because, again, this is all on loan. And the idea here was that Lawrence grabbed more than usual to be brought up there on loan, and then once he makes the trade, he would then give the money to his trading company to take back to him. So, again, it kind of explains that. I don't know, there could be something else, like a defect or something in the armor itself. But yeah, good episode all. Like I said, very much so a setup episode, introducing Norah, introducing the town, introducing Lawrence's trading company that he's associated with. A lot of setup for hopefully something really good coming up. But yeah, that's my thoughts on episode 8 of Spice and Wolf. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below, comment, let me know if you like the episode. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button, skip my content. I do news reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you like this content and you want to support the channel more, I have Patreon link, tips, links, links, membership down below. Greatly appreciate if it does. And y'all take care.